Today we're finally taking a look at a Supership again. I haven't played this tier in a pretty long time actually. I haven't found myself particularly interested in any of these ships, and I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments down below what you think of Superships, about playing them, playing against them, and well, about some of the upcoming ones. That European DD looks absolutely insane. But on this map specifically, just to talk about the position we're going to take in this Annapolis game, yeah, this island here just north of sea is unbelievable. It's a little bit sketchy to get to, especially in carrier games, so you'll notice no CV in this one, and that makes this island incredibly strong. It's very difficult for the enemy team to spot us back here, and with this island being pretty tall, but also short enough on both sides for us to shoot over to the B cap and over to the C cap here, this is one of the best possible spots you can take any radar ship, honestly. It's really, really, really good. Notice our radar covers all of the cap plus some. Yeah, it's an insane spot, and it's kind of odd because the south spawn doesn't get an island like this. Their island is much farther back and nowhere near as good for firing over. So a little bit of weird map balance, but this game is absolutely insane. I had not played at Annapolis in a very long time, and yet the playstyle feels so familiar. It's because it's just a Des Moines, right? Assuming that you're used to playing Des Moines positions, it's a Des Moines with more damage output. That's basically what you can think of this ship as. And it works really, really well. Some of these super ships are pretty cool, honestly. I like the Annapolis a lot. I have a lot of fun playing it. But honestly, I could be having just as much fun with the Des Moines. Right? To me, I would rather this game not have all these super ships, mainly due to the gimmicks, right? I think that it's a little bit unfair to play against some of these gimmicks. Popping my radar, by the way, to spot the Annapolis that was in the cap, trying to get him out of there so that, well, the enemy team doesn't get a free cap. That's all I'm really doing here as I'm farming the Preußen. Something else you got to be aware of in this position, just before I forget, if the enemy team pushes up the 9-10 line, that's how you can get permanently spotted. And, well, it's pretty easy for battleships to get salvos over this island and potentially dev strike you. So just watch out for that. Carrier games, and if the enemy team pushes a DD up the 9-10 line. Other than that, this position is unbelievable. But back to the super ships discussion. I really do wish that these things didn't have their special gimmicks. I think they're strong enough in general without these special gimmicks. The burst salvo on the Annapolis, we're going to see 3 times, I believe, in this game, where we absolutely decimate some people. It's disgusting what the Annapolis is capable of. It's already quite good, considering Des Moines has some of the better guns in the game, assuming that you're capable of leading at longer ranges. They get a little bit floaty, but at close range, these guns are amazing. And I don't really think it needed this DPM burst or this burst fire mechanic. Conde as well. I haven't been playing clan battles, but I've heard some stories from some friends that clan battles is double Conde and then the meta revolves around that. It's a little bit interesting. Of course, it's probably not as bad as some CV-based clan battle seasons, although keep in mind I haven't actually played, but at least the Conde isn't able to get around to any part of the map at any time, spotting and all that stuff. I think it's probably a little better than some of those CV seasons, but yeah, super ships and clan battles. I don't know about that one necessarily. We're gonna push in here with our Yamato. I feel pretty confident here, even though there is a Satsuma reasonably close. I'm not too afraid because we can angle reasonably well. And of course, we're going to try and help our team deal with the enemy ships that are on the 9-10 line. Getting a crossfire here with the Stalingrad is a really, really good thing. And if my aim could work, I would actually take out this Rigamo. I like the concept of some of these super ships. I think they're cool. But like I said, I don't think they really are needed in the game. To me, it seems like Wargaming is struggling a little bit to come up with new lines for the game. And you know, that's fair. There's a ton of lines. There's only so much you can do with surface ship combat, and with the gimmicks that certain flavors, I guess, each nation has, there's only so much they can do. So extending the tech tree by 1 tier, from tier 10 to a tier 11, they certainly open themselves up to adding more ships to the game and having more to add and more to build onto the game. But yeah, I would rather they just keep it a little bit more vanilla than that burst fire. Because my goodness, that Yoshino got absolutely decimated. I am more confident in that scenario with an Annapolis than I am in a battleship. Because a battleship, there's some RNG to whether or not we dev strike that man. With the Annapolis burst salvo, no, that guy was dead. 10 times out of 10, that guy's gone. And now, of course, we've cleared out this flank, except for this Satsuma. If you're wondering why he didn't crush me earlier on, well, I was constantly aware of where he was shooting and when he was going to be shooting. So I slowed down and turned in as soon as he was about to fire, throwing off his salvo. And now we're using these little islands here to try and turn out and get away. Notice I'm flat broadside to people from inside this gap over on the A cap. It's really important that we angle to that quickly. So I'm actually going to cut out and be spotted again by the Satsuma and potentially take some even bigger hits from this Satsuma, just so I'm not broadside to the guys in the A cap. You can see some salvos coming in already. Yeah, good thing we got angled in time. These cruisers can be played in this aggressive way, but honestly, it's really the later game that you want to be playing this aggressive. For me, these island positions, like you noticed the one I was at earlier this game, if you look at a lot of my other cruiser games on this channel, you're going to notice that I'm almost always taking an island position, a more passive position early game, and then waiting for that later game to push in and maybe make some use of my HP. For the Annapolis, the HE spam is pretty good, but the armor piercing is crazy. The amount of damage it does, even at pretty obscure angles, is awesome. Des Moines, of course, is able to do this as well. Those first few salvos weren't too amazing, but we're going to get some amazing ones here coming up. I think we get a 10k volley? Yeah, that one was around 9k, something like that. And we're at 16 kilometers. 6,000, yeah. Des Moines with AP is amazing. So if you're playing your Des Moines, even Buffalo, Baltimore a little bit with your HE only, give AP a go, even at range. It's pretty nasty. And just like that, we're already up to 166,000 damage. Pretty insane what these ships are capable of. A broadside Napoli, well, we may as well swap over to our burst fire. Yep. Yeah, that's, yeah. I mean, Napoli's one of the tankier ships, right? We can't hit his citadel, as you noticed, but we still managed to take off half of his HP. He was only spotted for a few seconds there. That's just not in the capacity of what a cruiser, even a heavy cruiser, something like a Des Moines, it's not going to be dealing that much damage. And potentially this is leading to more blowouts. I think we all aren't a huge fan of those fast games that are over instantly, that feels like you're not really able to impact the game or even to start playing the game. I think some of this damage output is just a little too much. It's a little too good at a little bit too long a range. And maybe if ships weren't quite this powerful, extending out to pretty far ranges, maybe the games would take a little bit longer before they ended. So with that salvo, we nearly took out the second Napoli, and yeah, we got ourselves a Confederate with the Halsey Commander, which of course gives us a 20% DPM buff, which we're going to use to great effect to farm, well, maybe not this Incomparable, who's probably going to go down to this Hindenburg, but we're definitely going to use it to farm the Montana that's potentially pushing in. And I don't think it's a bad thing if you enjoy these ships. Honestly, I enjoyed playing this Annapolis game a lot. It's hard not to enjoy this kind of game where we're doing so much damage so quickly. It's a lot of fun. And I don't think you should feel bad if you are enjoying these ships. But I just have to wonder what the game might be like without them. And maybe we, instead of getting the development time on Superships, maybe we got some more development time on different game modes, some better maps, some different alternative ways to play the more standard tier 1 to tier 10 ships that would maybe open up for some more gameplay possibilities. I think that the new map, the Faroe Islands, is cool. I haven't really done a video on that yet, but I've played a few games on it. It seems like a pretty cool island. The design looks very nice, honestly. The art team did a great job on it, but I think that it's just another pretty open map with lots of crossfire potential, with some islands scattered around the middle. I feel like that's basically every map we're playing. Maybe we have some different maps that have some giant islands that really break up the game, more like a Two Brothers style of map. I think it could be a lot of fun, or maybe even a little more interesting to be forced to play my ships differently than the standard stay in my spawn area where there's no islands and the enemy team stays in their spawn area where there's not very many islands. Then a few DDs try and take these capture zones that are in this middle island chain. I mean, on this map, of course, we can see the ABC squares. Well, those lines have no islands at all. The HIJ squares have no islands at all, and then all the islands are packed in between D and G on the mini-map there, where, I don't know, it seems like that's where the formula of maps are. And I would love to see a little bit more creative ways of giving us different islands, forcing us to push in different ways, making it safe to push in different areas, potentially, is really cool. And I feel like some of that creativity and development is getting taken away by some of these super ships, certainly by submarines and trying to implement those into the game, the whole underwater world. I just love to see some variety with the ships we currently have, that's all. And I think that maybe some of these burst fire gimmicks that the super ships have are a little bit too much. But to play them certainly can be a ton of fun. And yeah, we definitely carried this one out and had a monster damage game. As for the build, I think I'm at a pretty standard Des Moines type captain here. We need to buff our turret traverse. We certainly want to make use of some improved gun feeder. I'm taking priority target to help me know how many people are after me, to know if I need to push a little more or maybe disengage quickly. Taking more HP is great. Concealment, getting extra healing, and radars makes a lot of sense, right? And of course, adrenaline rush as well. Top grade gunner can be extremely good for those close range fights where Des Moines and Annapolis, they really don't rely on their armor to win those close range fights. It's more reliant on their DPM to just kill the enemy ship before they kill you. That's pretty much how it goes. I'm definitely running range mods still. I think you could probably get away with reload, but for me, it's just so much more comfortable to be able to at least shoot at some targets that are at longer ranges. Some maps and some games result in more camping, where other ones are a little bit closer range, and at least this way, I'm able to impact both of those games and not feel kind of useless in those longer range fights. Taking concealment, of course, propulsion mod, because we're playing around islands a lot, and yeah, the accuracy is decent, but definitely want to take aiming systems mod. Annapolis is honestly a lot of fun, and I'm pretty conflicted, as you can tell, with it when it comes to these super ships. I think they could be really cool and fun. Just think they might be a little overtuned at the moment. And part of me wonders what we could have had if the development time wasn't delegated to this tier 11. But again, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd really love to know what you guys think of this whole super ship tier 11 stuff. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.